All right, bang, bang. We are back for another week after the Players. The Florida swing is never going to end. So we are back in Florida for the Honda Classic. This has been a tournament that has been played here long-standing. So there's a ton of tournament history. It's also the hardest course stat-wise of the year for these players. You thought the Players and all these other tournaments in Florida had a lot of water. This one takes the cake. Holes 15 through 17 is the famous here. So last week of the Players, that hole 17 Island Green was all the rave. This year, you got the Bear Trap, holes 15 through 17, water all over the place. So it's gonna be difficult. You might think, look, at the end of the day, it's a 7,100 yard par 70 course. It's not that long, less than driver. Might think that might not be that difficult, but it is very difficult. Not a lot of birdies and definitely not a lot of eagle opportunities. There's only two par fives. Back in 1990, Jack Nicklaus redid the course, and it is definitely difficult. A couple key metrics before we'll let Price get into. We've also had some withdrawals. Is obviously the strokes gains approach. And number one on my model for that is Berger. Number two is Sabatini. Very interesting there. You got to go the first look to take a look at the rest of the top five. But we have strokes gained off the tee is my second metrics because there is a ton of water. Tee shots are crucial and critical. Berger, number one in my model for that. HV3, number two. And then bogey avoidance. Sabatini is number one. So he's popping off in two different metrics that we like here. So a couple more stats. Proximity 175 to 200 is something else to look into. And also strokes gained putting Bermuda grass. So that is the course. It is difficult, very difficult, and a lot of people withdrawn. Price, who all any I know it's kind of a weak field, and it's going to be a lot of variance because with these difficult courses, it can change a lot. But what changed a lot is we had 6 golfers leave us for this week. Who all said, "Nah, I'm not playing the Honda."
So it started with Danny Willett, who got rolled out last tournament because of COVID. And you got Brian Harmon and Sam Burns, who both withdrew. And then today, you had Scott Piercy and Woodland both test positive for COVID, and then Doc Redmond test positive for COVID as well. So this is kind of it used to be a really elite tournament to play, but with the schedule change in 2019, I believe, is when they switched the players back to March. It kind of messed with the normal guys' run because you have so many like elite events leading up into the Masters that people just didn't really have the time. So a lot of people have been skipping this tournament because of how hard the course is anyways. They'd rather go play somewhere where it's not as challenging. They have an easier path to making some money. But losing, I wouldn't say 5 guys who were in play, but at least 3 of them.
Scotty Burns is definitely in play.
Who's Scotty Burns?
The Bermuda King.
Scotty?
The slaying Price's bankroll.
You mean Sam?
Wow. Scotty Sam Burns. He goes by Sam.
Off.
Yeah. Well, Sam's his middle name. Scotty's his first name.
Okay. Yeah. But it should be an interesting week. Very tough course, especially with the forecast of winds that they're projecting gusts up to almost 40 miles an hour on the weekend. So it's going to be very interesting to see who can actually get out here and do well.
Yeah. Those weekend wins are going to be brutal. The +4 cut line on average here is also pretty brutal. So I'm definitely looking at some bogey avoidance and double bogey avoidance in my model this week. Now let's get to the ranges. Let's get through this in a pretty good manner here. Yeah. Not the usual suspects. Lee Westwood with his wife in the bag at 10-6 is not somebody you would see up there that high. So that's when you know the tournament is a little weak. But yeah, the defending champion, Sunjay M, I believe that's correct, at 11K. we'll go all the way down to Russell Henley at 9.8. I'll start with you, Price. What's your one play in this range, and what's the one guy you're staying away from?
My one play would be Berger, and my fade would be Russell Henley. I think Henley's going to be very popular.
Man, you just want to fade my. So who was your number one play last week in your model?
JT.
We got Russell Henley this week.
I think two of the other guys in this group are talking shit about JT, saying don't play him because he's been off. And then I think did he win last week?
I don't think we said don't play him.
Dustin said I wouldn't trust that.
I definitely
Alabama
said don't play
alumni
him
ever.
So all we need is Dustin to talk smack against Henley, and he's an auto play.
Hey man, I like JT. He's a grinder. I would have never said that about him.
I think Henley's going to be. It's really tough just to pick one. I guess if we're actually in the true 10K range, I wouldn't play Neiman.
Ooh, I like Neiman.
Just because you got to be different somewhere, and the other guys have been freaking great here, and Neiman hasn't. So he didn't do that well last week. He barely made the cut. I think he ended up shooting like 2 under, finishing like 40th. So he doesn't have the best form coming in. And so I just feel like that's a recipe for someone who's coming into a tournament they don't have very much success at to just not perform what his salary is.
Finished 29th, but close to 40.
He missed the cut here last year as well. This tournament does have a lot of history, and it's difficult. So 59th in the missed cut is 2 years he's played here. Henley, 24th, 20th, 8th the last 3 years, 9,800. I do agree in tournament plays. Could be Henley actually might be a good cash play, which is crazy because he's not really a cash player. But you got Berger up there, and he got 4th here last year. Lee Westwood also is playing great. I don't really want to go back to him, but he has a good history here. Last year he got 4th. Berger's my one play, and I'm getting talked out of Henley, I think, for the ownership more than anything, but I would love to start with Berger and Henley and then move on down, but it's going to be difficult to do that. So I'm with y'all on Berger. I like his game, like his bogey avoidance. Oop, got a phone call there. My bad. And one thing about Westwood, though, is his double bogey avoidance. He's number one on my model on that.
Yeah, I mean, the dude obviously didn't have his best stuff on Sunday again, but he made a ton of those like 6-footers, those 6-foot putts. I mean, it was just like every hole, and he seemed to make them. So, it's hard to click him at 10-6. That's the problem. If he was, down there in the upper 8s or something, then yeah, I mean, he's playing great. Hitting the ball well, putting well, girlfriend on the bag. So, that's his girlfriend, right? And his wife.
It's fiance.
So in between.
Mistress.
So yeah, I mean, I think it's hard, but he's playing he's played really, really well. So that it'll be interesting to see. I like Neiman. He ranks really well in my model. Obviously, he hadn't had his best stuff, but you go back a month and he had 2 second place finishes in a row, and hasn't been playing bad per se. He just hadn't been playing as well as he was. So in a weaker field, I don't mind him at all. I don't know if I'll click him. I obviously like Berger better. I just think Berger is. I mean, we did pick him the 1 week he missed the cut. When was that? A couple weeks back, but I think he's just a solid golfer. He obviously played well on Sunday, and has a lot of momentum coming in. I think he's probably going to be the highest click guy in this range too, though. So, depending on your strategy, I think you can go elsewhere, because I do think him and M will be the highest of them.
So Dustin, can you touch on Adam Scott so we can get every? He
would be my fade from this category. I I haven't seen anything that makes me want to just click him. He doesn't rate great overall in my model. So, and there's, like I said, there's really no reason for me to click him over some of these other guys. You know, Henley obviously has some course history here. Obviously played terrible last week, but that's just kind of my thing on it. So I will put the juju on Adam Scott. So you probably want to play him this week.
I am switching from Berger to Adam Scott as we speak.
It'll be interesting because he's, you know, probably one of the better known names up here. And so, you know, depending on how that affects ownership, I don't know yet, but it'll be interesting because you got a mixed mash of guys up here.
Yeah.
The top 4 owned are going to be Berger, Neiman, Henley, and M for sure, no matter what. Just because in a field like this, everyone's going to lean top heavy. And so Scott, you know, has been mediocre coming in. Westwood's really hard to click at 10-6. So it's going to be those guys right there who I think take up all the ownership.
Yeah. Let's go down price. You can start us off here from the 9 and the 8. Let's go with the 9 and the 8K range because it's the 9K range is pretty small. So let's add both of those in together.
Well, yeah, you included Henley above and Woodland withdrew, so you nixed like 22% of the.
So you're gonna start your line with Gim and Kirk, right?
No, it's gonna be windy. Gim's out.
I'll
play him in Showdown Friday and Saturday, but he will never be my fucking Sunday lineup.
Honestly, these guys, I mean, if you don't know, had literally superb metrics across the board. Both of them were top 3 in pretty much everything. And then Sunday just completely
they go out and shoot 12 over.
Shit the bed. I mean, it was hard to watch, you know, especially when we had JT in our lineup.
So aggravating. And we even talked about it the night before when Dustin literally said, do you think Gam has the mental capacity to come out and have a decent round?
And he's playing with JT.
And he just said, nah, bro, I'm going to hook everything in the freaking woods and water.
Hey, afterwards, he said it was a good learning experience for him. He'll be ready next time.
What do you mean next time? It happened 2 weeks ago. I bet his ass and he was 8 under. Then he shot 8 over.
Well, for week long.
Yeah. I mean, he's a showdown king Friday, Saturday, like Price said, but we ain't touching him.
For a week long when he's 6,200, yeah, he paid off.
Yeah.
How does he rate out in your model, Price?
129th.
Whoa, sheesh.
Jeez. Wow, broken model.
How's he rate out in your model?
I don't want to tell you.
I don't want to tell you either.
Well,
he's 6th,
I haven't waited for round 4.
He's 6th, baby. He's 6th. So
I guess it probably depends on the rounds because he's been really good.
No, I was at fit. I wasn't been doing the last 50 rounds. I'm moving it. I'm changing.
Yeah, I did 24, so he's still 5th in mine. So
I do the rolling report now, and he's a boo-boo.
Well, yeah. Because before the last 2 weeks, he's been awful for the most part.
I think my favorite play in this range is Wyndham Clark at 8,000.
Ooh, I have another guy at 8K I really like. Benny
Ann. Yeah, there's no Island par 3 this week, right?
I'll tell you a guy I like.
What's wrong with that 11 on a hole? Just
Keegan Bradley.
Yes.
I can't ever click that motherfucker.
Why? He's so good.
I don't have. I do think Cam Davis is probably going to be the best play.
Yeah.
In between 8 and 9K. I mean, he did. I think 8th here last year.
Yeah, he's 3rd
in the wind. And Brandon Steele rates out very well too. But I hate clicking Brendan Steele. Just hate it. But I love me. Wyndham Clark has 2 good finishes here. I don't know if y'all remember 2 years ago when he was leading going into the last round and then tried to hole out from the rough in the woods on 18 to go to a playoff and hit it in the water. And then it cost him 2nd place. Ended up costing him like $300,000 in earnings.
Hey, I love that mentality though.
But he's elite putter.
Yeah. The one fade for me is Price's boy Dylan Fratelli.
Oh, he's in my main, bro.
He doesn't rate out well at all. This is a less than driver course. And he rates out for double bogey avoidance 90th. He's also really bad in my proximity 175 to 1 to 200 that I like. And I love Ann Clark, Cam Davis. So there's a lot of other plays in this. Even Gim I like a lot. So bang bang. Any other player in here that y'all want to fade out before we move on down?
Yeah, whatever's that making that noise.
That would be my Discord. Probably some NBA updates.
Jesus Christ.
For injuries. I can't figure out how to turn it off. So
you right click and close.
No, it's not even on my screen.
Dustin, what about Pulte?
He's I don't dislike him.
He's a grinder, and this is a grinder course.
He's a grinder. He is very much so. He's at a price, I think, where you can get him and not feel bad about it. I think he's at 8,100 in this type of field. I think he's fine. He did well here last year. 27th. So, I don't dislike him at all. I think he's, like you said, can grind it out, especially in tough conditions. So, I think he's worth a look.
What about Ricky?
All right, I don't want to touch Ricky.
Why are we talking about that? Let's move on.
He has 3 top 6s at this course.
I don't care.
It's a trash field.
He's a trash player.
Dude. I mean,
no, he doesn't know how to hit the ball right now. No.
Wow.
He's like Spieth a year ago when you're like, he's just a complete wreck. You just don't play him.
And we're just going to skip like Shane Lowry and Taylor Gooch and Tringali.
I mean, we can't talk about everyone.
I was going to ask y'all about Gooch. Kind of just clicked over.
I mean, we started with let's do like 9,500 down to 8,000 and then skipped everybody above Cam Davis.
Well, we didn't skip. You already talked about Fowler. So
hey, he's a great GPP play this week.
I mean, no. All right.
Hey, let's do a bet then. Who do you like in this range? I'll take Fowler against him.
No, this is
you get from Matt Wallace up to Gooch.
I'll just take Cam Davis. I'll go down low.
Hold on. I'll partake in this bet. What's the range?
Actually, take Doug Gim up to Adam Scott. I'll give y'all up to the 10K.
You don't even want me to take Cam Davis. Cam Davis can whoop that ass. Cam Davis can whoop that ass.
So Gim, Fowler, Kirk, Tringali, Lowry, Gooch.
I'll take Gucci.
Price can take Gary Woodland.
He'd still probably do better than whoever you pick.
I'll take Henley.
All right, you can have Henley. You can have Gooch. Ricky's going to beat the brakes off both of them this week.
You're fucking crazy.
I know I'm crazy, but it's a great GPP play.
Well, I didn't say it wasn't a great GPP play.
And he's going to win me a bunch of money this week. Wow.
All right. So Price is going to have 12 golfers in his lineup, all in the 8K range. And then he's going to have Gooch there at the 9,300 to top it off.
What about B. Ann here at the low 8?
Chris loves him.
Love him.
I mean, I like him too. I mean, what is there not to like at 8,000?
Nothing. He's underpriced. He's 6th in the model, 175 to 200. He's good at avoiding doubles and not good at avoiding 11s on a par 3.
Yeah, I'm about to say, like, you can't look at the stats from the players because I think he lost 16 strokes.
That makes me want to play him more, if we're going to be honest.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's kind of skewed just from one hole. So
how that can kind of just motivate. And he came on Twitter and made fun of himself, and so I made me like him a little bit more. So he didn't take it too hard. He's not worried about it. None of these guys are worried about anything. They're sitting back there. They shoot 80. You see the Poulter video? They're eating lunch together. They don't care. Like literally, they don't. I mean, they care, but
yeah, most of them are well known enough, and they have sponsorships.
Yeah, they're multimillionaires before they even pick up a club beginning of the year. Every year, they've already made 7 figures, 8 figures, not 8, 7.
All right, Price, favorite 7. K guy.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Man. I'm going to go with Nick Taylor.
Shocked.
I know.
Explain.
He's done decent here. He's been playing decent. He's 7,100. All you really need is a top 35 from him. I feel like, he's won on PGA Tour, so obviously he can compete with the big guys. And I feel like this is a good spot for him. I think he's going to be severely under-owned. He's mispriced. He should be in the high 7K range in this field. I know that's not who y'all expected me to say, but
nope.
I feel like Nick Taylor's a good play this week. So now, Chris, you can go ahead and say who you were hoping I wouldn't pick.
I mean, it was not really. It's kind of your player though. HV3. He's made the cut here each of the last 4 years. He has a lot of upside. Off the tee, he's very good, and I think at his price range, he's pretty cheap for I think the level of golfer he can be. He's a little. I don't necessarily want him for a cash game, but even then, 7,600 is pretty good. His bogey and double bogey avoidance. His double bogey is 34th, and opportunities gain is 47th, and off the tee is really good. So I don't mind him. He's ball striking. He's coming in pretty well for this tournament. What do you think about HV3? Is he a little too erratic?
Erratic, you mean?
Erratic.
Yes.
Erratic.
He's not erotic to me, but
erotic too. But he's
I
definitely erratic.
Erratic. There you go.
And that's his main issue is his ability to not blow up. Because he's known to go out there and play really well, and the next day just shoot at 84. So
he's made the cut 4 years in a row, but he hasn't even finished top 40.
Yeah, but he made the cut.
I'd rather take a chance on the Corn Ferry stud Brandon Wu at 7,800 than HV3.
Ooh.
I don't
know. About more.
I initially have him clicked.
Water.
That's not more. That's Palmer.
Yeah. I always get them two
because they have the same
flip flop. No, I don't know. They both kind of suck, to be honest. But actually, Ryan Moore is doing pretty good. They both have ended up pretty good this year.
He's got good form. He rates pretty good in my model. So for somebody that's 7,300, I think he's a good play.
When I was doing the first look, Roy Sabatini price, our boy
Sabs,
stood out really good.
Just don't hit into him, right?
What do you think about Sabs on this? Typically less than driver course for the most part.
Oh, let me see what he ranks for me. I don't really like Sabs, generally speaking, but
he's got a 17th, a 36th, and 35th the last 3 years, and he's 7,200.
He comes out 45th for me, so I'm gonna pass. I would rather play Yanni Vegas for 100 more.
He's played really well here.
I know, and I believe he's made 4 straight cuts on tour.
Yeah,
including a second at the vaunted Puerto Rico Open, which is very similar to this field.
Doesn't give age on here. I don't know.
He's got to be old. I'm looking him up right now. He's got to be in his
what is that?
Late 30s.
Oh, I thought he was going to be in his 40s. I feel like he's older than that. 36. He's not even that old.
You're an ageist.
He went to Texas as well.
A lot of Texas players out there on the PGA Tour, Christopher.
Yep.
What about your boy Neesmith, bro?
They didn't win the
the last 2 weeks. Might as well fire it up again.
It's like blackjack. It's got to eventually hit.
Eventually you'll hit, bro. Just double down.
Killed me last week.
I don't think he'll shoot 12 over this week. I mean,
maybe 14.
Yeah, that bear trap's going to get him.
Warinsky.
I know, our boy Richie.
He's just like, you never know what you're gonna get. Box of chocolates.
Bro, I see this range and I just think of you and Dustin. Because you got
Adam
Adam Long, Dustin's boy. Every Saturday and Sunday, Dustin's like, hey, for Showdown, how about Adam Long?
Just want to click him.
You know what? He would have been better than Doug Gim, so I'll give you
Your
that.
boy Doc down there, Chris.
He withdrew.
Oh, he did withdrew?
Yeah, he's in fucking red with a WD next to his name.
Not on the screen I'm looking at. Price. Thank you.
And I literally, on the intro in, Chris said, talk about the people who withdrew.
I don't listen
I said, talk Redman.
I don't listen to
It's
you.
10 minutes ago.
Yeah. But right below him, you have a couple of good plays. I think Ches Reavie and then Lucas Glover, who doesn't wear a glove.
Good course history till last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Ches Reavie rates out 6th in my model, 4th off the tee, 16th on approach. Ball striking's way up there. Proximity 175 to 200 is number 3. He's 14th in bogey avoidance. His double bogey's not as good, but overall his stats for 7K is up there. Let's see.
It's a tougher. It gets tough down here because there's people who it's usually they're in like the
Erratic.
mid 6s and they're down there for a reason because there's a high probability they miss the cut. But this week, it's such a tough tournament that you could have the majority of these guys who are like 7,500 up miss the cut.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, besides like M and Berger and maybe Westwood, the other guys, I'd say they're like 50-50 to miss the cut. And usually you want these guys should be like 75-25 to make it. So it's going to be. And if it's windy, oh my God, you could see absolute carnage and the cut being like +5 or 6 if it's actually windy.
Cucumbers down here.
I know.
Hanging out, asking us to pick them.
Showdown only for him. I think Jim Fiore is going to be very, very popular because he, I think, hasn't missed a cut between the Champions Tour and PGA Tour, and he's done decent here, I believe. Where's he at?
God, there's a lot of guys in this range.
I know. Originally, Hoagie rated out very well for me, and then I looked and he's missed the cut 3 straight years here, so I'm going to go ahead and pass on that man. But I do like John Hu at 6,900.
Who?
He rates out decent. He has 2 missed cuts in the last 5 years here, but also 2 top 24s. He rates out 33rd overall in my model. So at 6,900, that's a pretty solid play for me.
What about your boy Zhang Zhang? 6,200.
No, not at a tough course. Another Texas boy, though, Kramer Hickok. He's done decent here. Rates out pretty well for me. And then Sam Ryder as well. I just don't know if people like him and Kevin Chappell I always like, but it's so hard to click them in your actual lineup.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather like bet them to finish top 20 than actually play them. But it's very, very tough week this week, I feel like, for the cheap range.
BJ Singh's in the field. Holy cow. How old is he, Chris?
Like 62.
Yeah, he's got to be old.
I think he's the same age as our parents.
I think that's about it. It's gonna be interesting to see. Man, it's gonna be a tough sledding this week. Hopefully we'll get even more carnage than personally, because I enjoy it, than last week at the Players. We had a ton of big names miss the cut. We don't have as many big names, but maybe we can get some high owned like a Ricky Fowler miss the cut price.
Doubt it. He's too good.
Too good. All right. Well, appreciate y'all watching. We're going to sign off here. Check out DFS Dads for the deep dive coming out on Wednesday. And we're going to have some more videos here. What are the 3 value plays of the day coming out soon as well. So hope you guys enjoy, and let's go make some money this week at the Honda.